Hello everyone. Today in this session we will discuss about HTML tables. So a HTML table consists of table element and one or more tr, th and td elements. The general syntax to be used for the creation of a table is you should use a table tag with attributes like align, border, width, cell padding and cell spacing. The purpose of using the cell padding is used to give the space between the space that is to be used between edge of the cell and the content, and the cell spacing is used to give the space between the one cell and its adjacent cell. Understood? And some general tags are there while you are using the tables, and they are coming to the table. It defines a table. Next th, it defines a header cell in a table. Next tr, it defines a row in a table. Next td, it defines a cell in a table. Next caption is there, so it defines a table caption. Next call group, it specifies a group of one or more columns in a table for formatting. Next col element, it specifies a column properties for a column for each column within a call group element. Next th, it groups the header content in a table. Next t body, it groups the body content in a table. Next last one is a t foot, it groups the footer content in a table. So now let us discuss about creation of a table by using an example. So see, in this example we have used a table element with a border that is equals to 1. Then there we used a caption that is a 4-1 subjects. Understood? Then see, here we have used tr tag 3 times. First time it is used for a creation of a heading, and the remaining 2 times it is used for a creation of a data like 1 CNS3, 2 WT3. So the headings that we used are serial number, subject and credits. Understood? So then if you embed this source code into your body, then you will get the output in this manner. Understood? So that is how you will create the table in your HTML. Understood? So now coming to the forms. So the forms are the best way of adding the interactivity of the elements in a web page. So the general syntax to be used for the creation of a form is, so you should use a tag that is a form with the attributes action and method. So you must write action is equals to URL to which web server you are submitting the web page, data, and method is equals to post or get. So when get method is used, the data is included as part of the URL, but when the post is used, it encodes the data within the body of the message. And generally different types of the form controls are there. So the first one is a text input control, and the next one is a buttons, and the third one is radio buttons. Next fourth one checkboxes, and the last one is select boxes. Understood? So the HTML form elements are used to capture the input. Generally different types of form controls are there, like text input controls, buttons, radio buttons, checkboxes and select boxes. How about their appearance? So now we will discuss what about their appearance. So coming to the first one is text box input. So its appearance should like this. Next second one is password input. So it looks like a text box where it consisting of password. The third one is text area. So where you need to enter some specific number of the rows as well as the columns. So its appearance looks like this. Next select a drop down box. You can call it like a select box also. So it looks like this. The next one is checkbox and its appearance. And the next one is radio buttons and its appearance. The next one is file input. Its appearance looks like this. Next, the last one is, see if you observe, the last one is a submit button and its appearance looks like this. So now we need to discuss in detail regarding each and every form control. Coming to the first text input control. So generally different types of text input controls are there. Three types of text input controls are there. The first one is a single line of a text input control, and the second one is a password input control, and the third one is a multi-line text input control. So coming to the first single line text input control. So if you observe here, for everything, for every type of a text input control, you need to use the input tag. So you need to write input type is equals to text, its a name, its a value, and its a size is equals to 30, and maximum length is equals to 40 we have written. Their max length is equals to 40 means maximum number of characters that you can able to enter is 40. Next, the second one is the password input control. For this you need to write input type is equals to password. The remaining attributes are same, like name, what is the name and what is the value and what is the size and what was the maximum length. And if you observe the next multi-line text input control or else text area. So where you need to enter the some data in specific number of the rows as well as some columns. So for that you need to use the tag that is a text area, where it is having as usually the name and followed by some specific number of the rows as well as the columns. That is about text input control. So then now we will discuss about buttons. So these buttons are used to submit or clear or reset a form data, and which is also used to trigger the client side scripts, and we can create the buttons in three ways. So those three ways are, the first one is input type is equals to submit, and the second one is input type is equals to reset, and the third one is input type is equals to a normal button. Understood? So if you embed these three lines in your source code, then you will get the output in this manner. Here three buttons are created where their names are submit, reset and submit. Understood? So this is the way that you need to, whenever you need to create a buttons, the way you need to follow in this manner. Understood? So coming to the third one is the checkboxes. So coming to these checkboxes, they provide a simply yes or no response with one control and allows selecting several items from a list of possible options. A checkbox is created by using as usually input tag, where its attribute that you need to use type is equals to checkbox. So see in this example, if you observe here, we have created four checkboxes. Where their data is HTML, DHTML, XML and JS. See, every time we have used type is equals to checkbox and its a corresponding name and its a value and its a size is equals to some size. Except the HTML checkbox, there we used checked is equals to checked. It means by default HTML checkbox is selected. So if you embed this source code to your HTML web document, then you will get the output in this manner. So see, if you observe here, HTML is by default selected. That is the way generally you need to use whenever there is a need to create the checkboxes. So then coming to the fourth one, radio buttons. So these radio buttons allows only a single selection. Whereas coming to the checkboxes, they allows the user to select more than one. But these radio buttons allows the user to select only one among the available options. So these radio buttons are created using the input tag as usually with a type attribute that is equals to radio. See here in this example we have created two radio buttons, one is a male and another one is a female. The remaining attributes are same as usually, that is type, name, value and checked is equals to checked. You need to write which one you want to select. Understood? So if you write like this, then you will get the output in this manner. where here two radio buttons are created. The first one is a male and another one is a female. Among those two, one is selected here. Understood? So then coming to the fifth one is select boxes. So these select boxes allows the user to select one item from a drop down menu, and these drop down select boxes takes less space than a group of radio buttons, and these select boxes are created by using the select tag, except the previously all the form controls are created by using the input tag, but coming to these select boxes, they are created by using the select tag, in which each and every individual option within that select box is created by using the option tag. See here, if you observe in this example, first we have started a select tag where its name is equals to state list and size is equals to 3 and multiple is equals to multiple. So here we have created 5 options, where the first option select your state and the remaining options are like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh. Understood? So among all of them, only one option is selected by me, where I have written an attribute like option selected is equals to selected. Understood? So if you write like this, then you will get the output in this manner, where one option is by default selected, that is select your state, followed by that you are having some list of the options like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, like that. Here only 3 options are visible to you. Why? Because there we have written a multiple is equals to multiple and size is equals to 3. Understood? So this is the generally way you need to create the select boxes. Understood? So then now we will discuss about frames. These frames allows the authors to present the documents in multiple views, which may be independent windows or sub windows. So these frames provides a pleasing interface which makes your website easy to navigate, and these frame set contains a set of the reference to HTML files, each of which is displayed inside a separate frame. So there are 2 tags related to the frames, that is a frame set tag and frame tag. First you need to write the frame set tag, and internal to that frame set tag you need to write frame tag. So see here, first we have written a frame set tag by using the attributes like columns and rows. Among the columns and rows you may write any one. Understood? So then here we have used a frame tag where we have used a certain number of attributes like name, src, where scrolling is equals to yes or no, and with a frame border, either you may use a frame border like a 0 or 1. So now we will discuss about the attributes to be used in detail regarding these 2 tags, that is a frame set tag and then frame tag. So coming to the first one, attributes of the frame set. So the attributes of the frame set are like you must use like columns, rows, border, frame border and then frame spacing. So columns means the number of columns in the frame set. Rows means it specifies the number of rows are in the frame set. And the border means width of the border of each frame in pixels. So frame border. So a 3-dimensional border should be displayed between the frames or not. If its value is 1, it indicates a border should be used. If its value is 0 means there is no border. Then frame spacing, it's like a cell spacing attribute in table tag. So it specifies the amount of a space between the frames in a frame set. So then coming to the attributes of frame, there you need to use the attributes like src, name, frame border, margin width and then margin height. So then coming to the src, it indicates which file to be used in that frame. Next name, a specific name, the name to the frame. Next frame border means if the as usually the 3-dimensional border, if its value 1 means it indicates a border, if its value is 0 means false, there is no border. Next coming to the margin width. So the width of the space between the left frame and right of the frame borders and the frame's content. So it means the width of the space between left edge and right edge of the frame border and the frame content. Then whereas coming to the margin height, it is the same as the margin width but except top and bottom. So that is the height of the space between the top and the bottom of the frame borders and its contents. Understood? So then we will discuss an example. So see here, first initially we have created used a frame set element with an attribute like columns. See here we have used 200 comma star. It means here we have written in pixels. The first frame size is occupied 200 pixels and the remaining total space will be given to the second frame. Understood? That is why there we have used star. So then we have created two tags, that is frames. So frame src is equals to 1.html and its name, that is the left frame. Next 2.html and its name, that is right frame. Next close the frame set and close the HTML. Now we need to create the 1.html as well as the 2.html. So coming to 1.html. So here we have created inside the body, we have created one link by writing ahref is equals to google.com and its target is equals to left frame. Why? Because there for the first frame we have used the name, that is left frame. And if you observe the next 2.html. So here for inside the body we have created another link, that is where its name is Gmail. And we have written a worldwideweb.gmail.com and its target is equals to right frame we used. Understood? So then for these, how you will get the output means in this way you will get the output, where here you created two frames, that is the left frame as well as the right frame. Understood? So the left frame contains a link to the Google and the right frame contains a link to the Gmail. Understood? So then coming to nested frame set. So a frame set element which is used inside the another frame set element is nothing but a nested frame set. So see, if you observe here in this example, first inside the body, first we have created a frame set with rows, that is a 25% comma 50%. That means first initially you are dividing your web document into two rows along the horizontal direction, and then first you in the first frame, that is a frame we use the frame name is equals to a, src is equals to 1.html. That means the top frame consisting of 1.html. Thereafter we have written a frame set columns is equals to. It means the bottom frame now again I am dividing into two columns now. Why? Because there I used the frame set columns is equals to 25% comma 50%. And for that there we used frame name is equals to b and its source is 2.html. And then frame name is equals to abc and its source is 3.html. So then close the inner frame set tag and close the outer frame set and close the HTML. Understood? So for this you will get the output in this manner. Understood? So after creation of that 1.html, 2.html and 3.html, the top frame consisting of a link to the Google and the left frame consisting of a, that is inside the bottom frame again it is where it is again divided into two frames, that is the left frame and right frame. The left frame consisting of a link to the Gmail and the right frame consisting of a link to the YouTube. In this way generally you may divide your web document into certain number of multiple views. Either they or maybe a independent windows or else they are maybe a sub windows. Understood? So then now we will discuss about HTML5. Understood? So coming to this HTML5, it is the fifth and the last major version of the HTML, that is the World Wide Web Consortium recommendation. It means the HTML5 is a recommendation by W3C and the HTML5 is the new standard for HTML. The most interesting new HTML5 elements are the new semantic elements like header, footer, article and section. And new attributes of the form elements like number, date, time, calendar and then range. and the new graphic elements like SVG and canvas. And the HTML5 consisting of different elements like audio as well as video. Understood? So now we will discuss about what are the differences between the HTML4 and then HTML5. That means the previous versions of the HTML and the currently used HTML5. What are the differences? See, the first difference is the previous versions of the HTML does not support the audio as well as the video without the use of a flash player support. But currently used HTML5 supports the audio and video controls with the use of a audio and as well as the video tags. And the basic HTML uses the cookies to store the temporary data. And now the HTML5 uses SQL databases and application cache to store the offline data. But whereas the basic HTML uses the cookies to store the temporary, that is the offline data. Coming to the basic HTML, it does not allow the JavaScript to run in browser. But whereas the HTML5, it allows the JavaScript to run in background. And this is possible due to the JavaScript web worker API in HTML5. Understood? So these are the differences between HTML4 and as well as HTML5. Thank you.